Hello, and welcome back to Mzansi. We are back again. It is a time of the night where we have to talk about what is happening in that case in Pretoria. But before we do that, we couldn't just resist watching Donald Trump and the South African delegates. Very interesting. I think I saw Rupert and Oppenheimer.
Yes, Nikki Oppenheimer. He didn't say anything.
No, he was sitting on the other side, the Starling side. Yeah, so very
The
interesting.
Starling side.
So I've never seen anything like that.
And
never
the
seen
white
anything like that.
crosses. Those white crosses by the roadside with a lot of cars and
Look at those graves. Look at this grave. All those people are there to pay their respect.
And they just sat there and did not even correct him to say those are not graves.
Yo, hi, South Africa. But it was just interesting to see the house full of millionaires. I mean, you said, hey, we want
Millionaires, more like billionaires.
Or trillionaires.
Or trillionaires, somewhere around there.
Yeah, it's very interesting. You know, I've never seen anything like that. Look at that. Look at that.
And then they played the videos of CIC.
And then there was the one where Zuma also was singing. Very interesting. We just watched something, you know. I know many people are saying, wow, someone defended so and so did. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't want to say anything.
And I don't want to talk about politics, especially here. You get into a lot of trouble.
I don't know, man. I don't know. But it's very interesting, you know, when we're sitting here and discussing, you know, sometimes you wish people could hear those discussions. But unfortunately, it's something that we have to keep.
Being shadow banned. It's not nice.
Yeah.
It's not nice.
And then you had someone there who was talking about something. You know, no one denounced what was currently being told there. No one.
No.
Except where I think one person tried to balance the equation. Very interesting character, Joe, if you ask me. But wow.
One would say he was protecting his own. He was protecting Pella. If
listening to Steinhazen, I was like, wow. But I'm grateful for these cameras because you know what? Just generally, there's this perception that there are certain people who are really, really fighting for us as South Africans. But listening to that, wow, I was surprised. And I can almost feel that that's exactly how we deal with things, right? Behind closed doors. This is very interesting. You have a president who was not ready to listen to anyone in any case, who had his own way, his own direction, and he stood to those directions. Perhaps one would have wished to have someone like Naledi
Chirwa.
No, Naledi, is it Naledi
Naledi Pando.
Naledi Pando, yes.
Naledi Pando, yes, definitely. She was required in that.
Wow.
Yeah, she was.
She's
missed.
During her last days, you know, she was able to say what was in her mind.
I don't think if she was still the Minister of International Relations, this whole lie could have dragged it this far.
No.
I doubt it.
No. But okay, it's fine. We're not here for that. It's just interesting, Jay, to go through. Look at that. Oh my God, look at that.
Oh, so many
all
crosses.
those people, so many crosses. I've never seen anything
graves. I've never seen anything like that. So many graves.
So many graves.
Why not putting this person in jail who's singing this song? I mean, he should be in jail.
If it was here, he would be in jail right now.
They just sat there. They just sat there.
No, that's the skill of negotiation, I guess. Well,
Yeah.
I just then saw a very good one then. If you ask me...
Who won the negotiation?
Oh, Donald Trump. Definitely Donald Trump.
People think we won.
No. We were just made to watch a snippet of what could have happened behind the closed doors. That president was not ready to listen to the fact that the negotiations were in America. That's the first win.
Yeah, that's a win. The fact that you have to fly.
That's why then you were hearing you must be catered for by the very same man that you are here to convince. That man has already convinced you. That's why you're hearing now a Starlink. And I can tell you right now for free, it feels like we're going to have some Starlink around the sky. It's the limit, you know? Even our president was like, we need a Starlink. Oh, sorry, man. I mean, one of our prominent business member.
We were told at some point that he's a good negotiator. I was hoping.
No. I'm talking about something else.
I'm sorry.
You don't get it. The Starlink has been announced in that meeting.
Yes.
Who announced the Starlink on that meeting? It's not even Donald Trump who announced it.
It's Rupert, I think.
You know, it's going to help with crime.
It's Rupert, yes. He said they would be appointed at police stations. So that was interesting.
And who's going to pay for it?
The government.
Should be taxpayers, man, right? It's like this issue of... Yeah, man, let me not talk too much. But yeah, today we had a case and emotions were erupting in the court where memorandum was being requested. It was now made to be a privilege between a client and... it's not even there's no client between the two. Those are people who are just advising each other.
They're both working for the state.
Perhaps if you are acting on behalf of someone, but you are there assisting take those decisions, why not take the accountability of whatever outcome that was made out of that assistance? Why should we be fighting over that?
I don't understand.
But okay, let's hear, Emily. What's up?
Well, court resumed this morning with accused number 2 and the court practitioner arriving late in court. They waited a bit. There was a bit of a wait and then it resumed. But as they were waiting, the judge asked Baloyi if he had read about Dumanokwe. Baloyi said that it was a counsel who represented people that were charged under the security legislation and he died in exile. His remains were returned fairly recently to South Africa and apparently he has a chamber named after him in Johannesburg. He was the first black admitted advocate in South Africa. Then there was mention of Pinky Sieme, who apparently in 1912 was the first black attorney to be admitted. So Duma was the first advocate around the 60s. Now, this moved to him now criticizing black people for not knowing who these people are and how the statue of Dumanokwe was apparently removed in front of the Johannesburg High Court. So he was bashing us for not knowing who this person is, even going as far as calling Abantu ignorant, taking away their lived experiences, of
what experiences?
Lived experiences of this constitution and what is happening now.
What constitution? I mean, isn't it this constitution that we have Orania?
It is.
Isn't this constitution that we have so many graves?
Yeah, it is.
So what? So what? What are we supposed to do with it?
And it's because of it as well that now Abu Bongani are sitting in that court, having to endure this very long trial. So then they moved to defending. He also moved to him defending Mandela's legacy, saying that he went to CODESA with an already drafted constitution that, according to him, was drafted by the first black attorney and advocate Nokwe, and he said that they drafted it in Lusaka. And he wants to tell us that no other person of no color had a hand in drafting that constitution.
They didn't have to. They didn't have to. I mean, they don't have to do anything, actually. They don't have to just do anything. You know, a simple mere crosses of the documentary can actually speak volume for them. They don't have to say anything. They don't have to say anything. They have, like, there's master we are sick. So who needs to even lift a hand and write a constitutional if there's master we are sick?
I had written an entire thesis, but then I had to hold myself back and said, you know what, I don't want to discuss politics on YouTube.
If you are hearing in this court, you are hearing a judge, I'm not going to say people's name, you are hearing someone, and you're looking at how they behave. I mean, isn't this the same person who at some point used a defense of apartheid to say it's because of it, maybe he was used to working
when he was questioned back in the day, I think it's 2008,
about how he was treating people in court.
Yes.
Who was he treating that much bad?
It was black defense.
Exactly. Do you get my point?
Yes.
Then you have that person writing or contributing to a constitution. What do you think is going to happen?
Disaster. I'm gonna side with the designers.
And you
the
come
system.
here, you schooling us about the constitution that you should shove now in our throat. What are we supposed to do with that? Yeah? What are we supposed to do with that?
And you, like young
in
lawyers.
A democratic country, as we say, this is you at some point were called out and you had to defend yourself using that system. It's because of that system, because of whatever then that you wrote. If you happen to have contributed, what do you think is going to favor? Who do you think is going to favor? Because you were acting in a certain way because you were taught, or because something, I don't know what was your defense at the time. You were taught to...
He said that he was conditioned by apartheid.
Exactly. And then you have that person prior to that saying, I contributed to this constitution. This is a democratic constitution. How can it be democratic if you later on in a democratic country at the time, now you are saying you are still having that trauma? What then did you contribute on that constitution that would support the people that you are saying they should be proud of and they should know their history? The other one bayathanda ukusenza sikhulume.
Ufuna sikhulume, uyafuna ukuthi le generation yamanje, the one that doesn't agree with this constitution.
We have no filter. We are just filtered here. I mean, we just have no filter, man. And if you want to take us on, it's fine. We can have that discussion. We can discuss.
I just feel like he wants to bully this generation to not identify what is wrong and try to fix it. It's almost like he wants to give credit to people who had their own part that they played in the struggle to be forever ever celebrated, cemented, without any rise of a new generation that is fighting for what they want. It's almost like young people have no right to demand anything. They've turned into gatekeepers
of whatever that these young people want.
Yes. And also, he's comparing the fight of a lawyer who was fighting to stay where the white lawyers were staying.
Sitting.
Yes, were sitting. So he that fight for sitting amongst white is now something that he wants to make it force or fit it in 2025, where the struggle has evolved.
You
We're
know,
no
the
longer
best thing,
fighting
the
to
best thing that
sit
you can
in
ever
seats.
do is to keep yourself out of politics.
Yeah.
You had all the time, more than 50-something years,
50-something
to
years.
deal with the issues. And if you ask this generation, most probably they will say you failed, Desmond.
Yes, it
So
was a dismal
let
failure.
them deal with the issues that they are gonna live with. So you can't force the issues that were forced to you during the old days to come and bind the new generation. Let them be.
And
At least you have you can say there is a bit of voice that you can have.
Yes.
Fine, keep quiet. Let others then continue the journey. That's why we have change of leadership now and then. So we can't now be forced to think like you were thinking, think like me.
Fighting
Because
for a
right
seat in
now,
a
if
bus.
you ask me right now, when we are hearing you reasoning, we really have many differences when it comes to your reasoning. And I can tell you, the kids that are coming behind us probably have more
Yeah.
advanced knowledge than us. So
Yes.
you can't, I mean, come on. It's fine, let's continue. We are time
And he
school.
also forgets that even Mandela himself said the struggle what continues. He said that, this is not the end. He shared the same sentiments because he knew that they had conformed to what they needed to conform to at the time.
Exactly.
So I don't understand this whole guilt tripping, wanting people to feel guilty or whatever it is.
I don't know
I
when
don't
he
get it.
reasons, when he talks about these things, he's feeling so smart. I don't know what is it. I don't know, but it's fine, man. Keep it to yourself, because the more you talk, the more we see the other side that we don't want to see. Perhaps it's
he
even
needs to
too
stay
late.
away from
It's even too late
politics.
to actually.
Especially if he wants to force people to think how he thinks, and then just because they don't think how he thinks, he calls them ignorant. He should just keep quiet, in my opinion, and enjoy his retirement and stay away from politic commentary, because it's going to upset a lot of people. Now, Mnisi resumed. Recall that yesterday he asked for an early adjournment in order to verify that there are no notes relating to Sibia being questioned about Meyiwa's death in that docket. Now, he said he had gone through the record, and it is indeed so that there are portions where Constable Zungu mentions him being in a meeting with Lieutenant Lishabani, General Lishabani, and Buthelezi, and Warrant Officer Makubo was also there. Now, Mnisi said that he searched and could not find the exact location where those meetings took place in Zungu's testimony. So he was saying that when he was led under examination in chief, unfortunately, that information relating to the venues where those meetings were taking place were not revisited. He also repeated the same version.
It was never elicited.
Yes, and he also repeated the same version under cross-examination by Ramos Sepeli. So Mnisi said that he couldn't find a point where he said amongst the people he mentioned, he also came across accused number 1. So the judge now said, no, you didn't read it well. Zungu mentioned that he attended a meeting where Lishabani was present, Sibia, Makubo, Buthelezi, and Lishabani. That meeting took place at the offices of Lishabani at Kluof. So he was saying that Zungu did say that the meeting happened at Glorokop, and Baloi also confirmed it. So the judge said that's when Makubo came with a version that Zungu is a liar, because Makubo is the person who arrested accused number 5. That meeting took place at Glorkop. So Mnisi said that they didn't intend to make a meal out of that. And another point that came out yesterday was with regard to Mr. Lishabani. He asked the judge if he had said it was the duty of the defense to call him. The judge said that he didn't say that. He said that Mr. Mgomezulu intended calling Mr. Lishabani. When he was supposed to call him in the trial, within a trial, Mr. Mgomezulu then decided that he was not going to call him.
No.
Well, that's not true.
No, that's not true. You know what? It's very, how, as I said, there are a lot of things that have been done in this case that are very, for me, I I would say those are the loopholes of this law. For example, that thing needs to be fixed. If, for example, I am going to need someone that the state has, and the state says they block me by saying you cannot call this person. He's part of our witnesses.
Yes.
The loophole is that they are supposed to be forced to call that person.
Yes.
Because whatever that I was going to do with that person at a time has been interrupted, and the trial within a trial was done and dusted.
Yes.
Then after that, they release him. So that is, in a sense, it just needs to be fixed, man. Because at the time, Mngomezulu needed this man for a trial within a trial.
Yes.
And he was there, apparently, in court.
Yeah, apparently showed
And
up
then he
in
was
court.
blocked by Baloyi. Then after that, he releases him. It's done. The trial within a trial is done and dusted.
And then I remember him saying that he's unavailable.
This
Did
case,
you guys remember
yes,
that?
this case could have been stopped maybe because of that man. He was going to come and confirm certain things that these confessions were going to be scrapped out. Then there would be no case. But because Ubaloyi said, I'm going to use these people, privilege, and then after that he's like, no, I don't need this person. What is this law doing about that situation where I can literally, as a prosecutor, just disturb you for that particular time that I need to disturb you on, and then once we're done with that, once I have gotten my victory, I can spit that person out without even calling them to court.
Right?
Okay, it's fine. Let's continue.
Well, the judge asked Ramasipili, then Ramasipili refreshed everyone's memory by stating that actually it emerged that he was on the list of the state witnesses. So apparently General Leshabani was present in court on that day. What a wow. Because the state's case was not yet closed and they couldn't call him. Mnisi said that the state indicated that they would be calling him. I don't know how, because the state said Brigadier Gininda was the final witness now. So what happens? What happens? They're not going to call General Lishabani.
The trial within a trial is done.
This
thing was going to be used to say that I was taken to this place. They denounced that accused number one was ever taken there
in 2019.
Right.
Yes.
So this was one of
March.
the things that they needed. Like AVL, it's like when we needed to see the hospital, there was this, is it loading or whatever?
GPS unlock.
A GPS unlock. And then when we needed to hear from someone who was in the house, who was going to at least put that accused number one there in the very same house that they said he was never there, then that person in the state said, we are going to use him.
Yeah, ne?
So Ramusipiri normally says what is good for the geese is good for the gander. But it is never like that, actually.
Not in that court.
Not in that court. It's not like that.
Not in that court. So that is when Zungu was testifying and he was referring to the conversation that he had with Leshabani. The state requested that the information be provisionally received because they would definitely be calling Mr. Leshabani. But he said that Zungu never mentioned that they met at Luarkop. Now he was changing because the judge had said, but he did mention that now Baloyi came back and said, no, Zungu never mentioned that they met at Luarkop. Regarding whether the state is going to call General Leshabani, he said that initially they indicated that he's on the list of state witnesses, but at a later stage, they made it clear that they were going to call him, and they intimated that they were making him available to the defense. So Mnisi said that that is not a big point. Well, I feel like he should have called for him to come and testify. Mnisi.
Who?
Leshabani.
This is smart. I can tell you, he's
still
moving.
going to process it.
He's moving properly. not binding himself in many things.
Okay.
Because he has seen how we are dealing with this case. You bind yourself into certain things and makes you look like
time.
your client is guilty because you said you're going to call so and so, now you're not calling. So
them.
do not admit or do not, unless you need to use something, there is no need to actually say, I'm going to call the Shaban, because you still need to brief the Shaban. You still need to go through the whole process and hear if this person is going to be suitable for your client.
Or not. I understand. So Mnisi continued with his cross-examination of Brigadier Gininda. Mnisi asked about the basis why the accused were indicted. He referenced the memorandum Gininda wrote to the NPA. Now Mnisi said, remember yesterday when I spoke about the presentation that you have made to the office of the DPP, it would have been in the boardroom. You were sitting around the table and you were making an exposition of the investigation, and you said no, it was in the form of a memorandum. So Gininda said that's correct. Mnisi said, what were the facts that you presented in that memorandum on which you requested the state to make their decision on? Baloyi interjected, saying that yesterday Mnisi canvassed this issue at length, in which, in their view, it's irrelevant. And I kept asking myself why, because this was a prosecutorially driven investigation.
Because it now turns a light towards them to say, what did you take this decision based on? As now, let us leave subsequently to that out of this and say, okay, you are not done with your law, even though you are in a hurry to sound like a lawyer, but you are not maybe done with your degree, right?
Yes.
You are still regarded as a police, and you need to do that and submit to people who are senior advocates.
Yes.
Then they took a decision to say, yeah, we are allowing you to continue. On what basis did they allow you to continue on? And that is the problem. So Mnisi is not questioning direct Baloyi and the group of the people that took the decision, but indeed he's scrutinizing I would say he's scrutinizing how the decision was arrived at. He's then going to question advocate Baloyi to say that then that's why we are having these kind of situations that we are facing in court. In his argument, I would assume that's what he wants to do. We had an advocate that accepted a case that had no merits, no proof. And then by hook or crook, he's now looking for a way of making it succeed. That's why we are having all these difficulties. Certain things are disappearing. AVL is not, other cars are not fitted. You see that in a very smart way is highlighting those things. It surprises me, my lord, that one car has AVL, the other one does not have. Those are part of things that you need to argue there, to say that we had an advocate that had one thing in mind, not to save the law, but to make sure that these people are put into jail, because it was not going to look good to him.
And he said, and secondly, what happened when Brigadier Gininda briefed the office of the DPP is irrelevant. It's a collateral issue that we submit should not be canvassed during these proceedings. It's like what happens during consultation. It should not be brought into the courtroom. Mnisi argued that it is misinformed. Remember, that briefing or that memorandum is the basis of why this trial is even happening. So there's nothing secret about it. It could have formed the basis of why these accused persons were arrested and ultimately arrested and charged with the offenses that they are charged with today. So there is nothing irrelevant on that. We are entitled as the defense, and particularly these accused persons are entitled to know what were the facts upon which the state decided to indict them to come and stand trial before this court. What is wrong with that? They are entitled to it unless there is something which is being hidden. Now, I have to admit, Advocate Baloyi was giving me a vibe of hiding something, in my opinion, and that's solely my opinion. Even his body language, it just felt like he's trying to block this. He's not.
He has not been comfortable when he has been questioned, because I in my opinion, it seems as if this is questioning him. Yes, he has not been
His
comfortable.
Role. Yes.
By then he starts moving around and saying the decision that we took is the decision of the DPP and all that, and it shows that he's not comfortable.
It's almost as if he doesn't want the defense to understand.
Because remember also this issue of now this case being in Pretoria, while it is supposed to be actually here in
it was supposed to be in Boksburg.
In Boksburg, in Johannesburg, ne?
Yes, Johannesburg.
Yes. It now, when you argue, your points then should be pointing to that direction. That not only you took a decision, you made sure that you oversee that this whole process finishes the way you want it to finish. That's why he's skeptical about things that are asking about the decision prior to this case starting. Because now it makes him look like a person who's hungry to get these things done so that he can add a win under his belt.
Yes. So Baloyi said that Sibanda had just reminded him that the late Mr. Mgomezulu made the late Brigadier Kininda to read through his affidavit on which the application for a warrant of arrest was based. So the information, he said, was already before the court. And I just said to myself, Kuri, the state really doesn't want the defense to question how the DPP came to the conclusion that this case was ready for trial. And Mnisi said that he was not talking about the affidavit. He was speaking on the factual basis upon which the state decided to arraign these accused persons. So he said that they need to come and appear there, and he didn't know what was contained in the memorandum. All that he wanted to get from the witness is who the lead investigator in this court was, and what were the facts that were laid before the state on which he requested the state to make a decision at the later stage, when the state now took a decision to arraign the accused persons to come and appear before court. So Mnisi asked Kininda to take it point by point because he was going to be taking notes. He said that he'll be very, very worried if he was to say something very, very long. You know how he likes to give those long explanations in which he'll be confused. So Kininda said that he will have difficulty, but he will try to summarize since he does not have the memorandum with him. Now, trouble started, when he was now supposed to summarize, He said that he summarized the facts on this case, and he said that his recollection is that in the memorandum, firstly, it indicated the background of the case, what transpired. So it's a summary. Then indicate as to where the investigation led him to, and it led him to accuse 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 before court. And then he said he will then, under accused number 1, indicate the evidence that he collected that was contained in the docket, the same exercise that they embarked upon when it came to accuse 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now Mnisi said that those are not the facts, okay? Because now he was supposed to explain exactly how accused number 1, what was against him, what was the case against him, what was the evidence that pertained to accused number 1. And he was just explaining the process. He was explaining the methodology. So Mnisi quickly stopped him there and he said that those are not the facts, Brigadier Gininda. He said that he would request for the court that if needs be, Brigadier Gininda needs to go get that memorandum, then submit it to the court, because he doesn't know what evidence Gininda said he had in respect of accused number 1. And he said, I want facts, which you presented to the state. Now, I gagged there. I was chuckling. I was chuckling. So Mnisi said that he'd been asking Gininda to give him the facts around why the 5 accused before court were indicted. Baloyi said that the issues such as the memorandum or the summary of the case by the investigator are filed in the B section of the docket and are privileged. They have got nothing to do with the information that is contained in the A section of the docket. He said that we submit, therefore, my lord, that the defense is not entitled to that information, not that there is anything to hide in the memorandum. It's just an issue of legal principle. They are not entitled to inform or to information that is filed in the B section of the docket. And secondly, the most importantly, counsel says that he wants facts. Facts have been presented before court by way of affidavits. He said, we submit that it is therefore unfair for this witness, meaning Brigadier Gininda, to be expected to regurgitate facts that have already been presented before court. Now, this memorandum speaks to how the prosecutors who made the decision for this docket to go to trial with the 5 accused came to be. And one of the prosecutors who was involved in the making of that decision is, of course, Advocate Baloyi. He was one of them. We cannot say he was the only one for now because it's not quite clear. And he said, like he said, that information is privileged. And he does not want to be delved into, even though this was a prosecutorially driven investigation. He doesn't want those details to be known to the accused. So Mnisi reminded Baloyi that he is new counsel for accused number 1. He doesn't know what facts were presented here on record, which is why that witness is there to assist him to assist the court, meaning Brigadier Gininda. Mnisi emphasized that there is nothing privileged whether investigating officer prepares a memorandum, and says on the basis of that memorandum, can you please make a decision on whether you want to prosecute or not? You don't want to prosecute these accused persons. What is privileged about that if you don't want to do it? The judge then was asking for section 179 on whether Baloyi decides whether to prosecute or not. And this witness, he said, can help us. The decision is hers, meaning Shamila Baloyi, the NDPP, National Director of Public Prosecutions. And he said that decision is hers and not this gentleman, meaning Brigadier Gininda. Now, here I started to wonder, Mr. Anonymous, is that memorandum even there? Like, does it exist? Are we talking about a document that can be found? Like, I don't understand. I don't understand.
It could be there. It could be there. But look, you see, the problem with this document, if it was to be discovered,
yeah.
If you look at how this case, it's not a normal case. This one, we have been, in a sense, building this case as we go. As they said, they are not done. So it is something to wonder about. How much information did they have initially before commencing? And the problem with, even if they didn't have it, they say, for argument's sake, they didn't have it. They just started on a pylon. They're like, we can do this thing. Let's swing it. Now the problem is that even if they had to go back and draft it, now it will have a problem because some of the things were actually happening in front of this defense. So they will have a problem with the timeline or aligning with the timeline to say this happened around this time, this happened around this time. That is why we said now that's why it cannot be discovered, in my opinion, because it is, if it is there, it should not be more than a page if it's there. So the facts that Mnisi is looking for, the meat of why they took a decision, is in a sense not there. Whether it's there, I would say it's not there because maybe it doesn't have the meat that he's looking for.
I hear you.
If you look, for example, the issue of cell phones, when they were taken from the accused, it was when they were arrested, for example.
Yes.
So they built this case later, but already the people were arrested. Hence, they had to arrest them according to the rule of cold case. The rule of cold case, which says we can arrest you for anything and anyhow. As long as you have a case, we will arrest you. Then we will investigate you. If we don't have a case, there will be a case, and we will find a way of getting you there. This is my thinking. So you hear how Ndanzi's cases were started and how they all of a sudden disappeared, in my opinion. Those are the things that we look at. I mean, we are sitting here, we are just watching. We don't know what is happening on it. But my feeling is that it does not have much to look forward to. And that now is going to reflect back to the people that took the decision, that understands law. Because we are talking about, for example, hearsay here, evidence that they say they had, we since realize that is triple hearsay.
Yeah.
So what then did they take a decision on? Look at how the wisdom of Mnisi, starting by attacking the only evidence that could have created this whole circus. He started there. And then after that, after establishing that is triple hearsay, now he wants to know what were the reasons. Because obviously he has crushed this one. What else that is there that says these are the people that were allegedly in the house during the time of the so-called robbery that went wrong or hit, whatever that you might call it? Because I mean, they even themselves, they don't know what this case is. Is it a robbery gone wrong or a hit that was put by allegedly killed? So what can you find from that from that memorandum?
And Zungu deposed of his statement with the version of him being in the Fosloras hostel on the 26th of October 2014. It was typed and it came as the trial had already commenced.
Exactly, that's what I'm trying to say, that most of these things are happening as we are witnessing them too.
Yes.
Some of them are prompted by what has happened in that court. And then all of a sudden we even said that some of the things seems to be answering when they come.
Filling in the gaps.
Yes.
So the judge also said that it is a misnomer for Mnisi to say that the state does not have privileged information. Now, I had to recall at this moment the decision of the DPP in KZN, is it Durban Magistrates Court, regarding the current prosecution on the AKA case. Eswatini Times shared the indictment.
Yes, they did.
I remember.
They did.
We even went through it on the channel. So it existed, and it helped us make sense of why the current accused stood before the Durban Magistrate Court and why they are being accused of killing AKA and organizing that atrocious, act. It it was there. We saw it.
Yes,
you know.
it was.
So the judge here is basically trying to tell us that the defense is not entitled to that document.
And rest assured, because I mean, we are dealing with someone who comes from a different system. He might be able to find something tomorrow to use and defend.
Because today he was all over
but
the
today
place.
he was fine.
He was all over the place.
There might be a way of solidifying whatever that he wants to see in that court, in my opinion.
And to me it was also strange because Mnisi was not even asking for the indictment per se. He was just asking for what Brigadier Kininda handed over to the prosecution as evidence against his accused number one. That's all. But it was so difficult. So the judge said that what this witness discusses with Batoi is privileged. That's not what Mnisi was asking for. He wasn't asking for what was discussed between the DPP and then NDPP.
Just a reminder, guys, we have 529 people. Please press that like button. We have 190 likes, which is a mismatch. Please, guys, we are requesting for you to press that like button. We don't mention it a lot because we know that most of the time you guys are clued up when it comes to this. So please, just a reminder. Even though you are late, if you are late, just come and press it and then continue listening. Yes, let's continue.
So the judge said that the same way that he discusses with Batoi, it is privileged, and that is the law. Mnisi said that he wanted the facts that Gininda submitted to the NPA. They are entitled to know that. There was another back and forth also that happened, and Baloyi refused with that summary the investigator made for himself. The judge overruled Mnisi after asking Baloyi to read this section 179 that's kind of spoke to the role of the NDPP. It did not say that the NDPP or what was discussed between the lead investigator and the DPP should not be disclosed. It was just speaking on the role of the National Director of Public Prosecutions. I kept listening, hoping I would find something dololo. I did not find nothing. It was just like weird. And mind you, also, there's no way where he read that it said that the defense counsel has no right to ask for the indictment nor the facts that led up to their client's arrest. And Mr. Anonymous, you are just saying now that he's probably looking for it and has already found it and is preparing to share it tomorrow in court.
Remember, these are the people who were forced to deal with Africans in court, so anything is possible.
So those who heard it are free to share it in the comment section because I did not hear such a thing. So the judge said that what the law says is that there has got to be litis contatus before a person can be charged in a court of law. In other words, the accused himself must plead, and when he pleads not guilty, that is the commencement of the case. So now of the lawyers that represented the accused before at the Boksburg Magistrate Court, sikhuluma ngabo Mjiyako lana.
Yeah, madod. Isn't it perimeter?
And then Advocate Baloyi at some point, was it Brigadier Kininda last year on the stand said Advocate Mshololo was also there. So now it's like the baton and responsibilities going to the lawyers that first appeared there before they pleaded. Yeah. And I wonder if all of them actually had lawyers, because I can only think of Mjiyako, I can only think of Mshololo. I don't know about the rest and what was happening there. I really don't know. And then Advocate remember also that Advocate Tifo came, for those maybe who may ask about Advocate Tifo, he came later on. He came after they had pleaded at the Boksburg Magistrate Court. So if the accused of his counsellors believe that these charges are frivolous, is what the judge was saying there, are brought for a malevolent reason.
So wait, Mjiako was coming in as an independent advocate. Oh,
with his own independent
not from
firm.
NPA.
No.
Yo.
With his
No,
own
I'm just joking my memory. Yeah. Wow. So he was representing who? Dance.
Only.
Who didn't have money, by the way. It'd be very interesting to see if there was a payment ever made by Dance.
Financial instruction.
But yeah, let's continue. Let's continue.
And then he brings an application to court for the judge to decide whether or not there is a prima facie evidence upon a person can be charged. So even if Batoy doesn't just read, she inspects the docket, she goes to the law, because this is what guides her, and only after that do they charge a person. So the judge read somewhere where it read that the DPP may not charge a person if there is not sufficient compelling reason. But Mnisi is asking for those reasons from the investigating officer.
Exactly, you are giving what Mnisi, you are helping Mnisi.
Why are they stopping me
That's what I'm
from
saying.
doing that?
Today we probably are not sleeping. We are checking according to section of 1979. Or, you know.
I know. He's probably busy right now.
I like this hostile environment where people are angry at work because there is no friendship.
Yes.
There's no battering.
Yes.
Yeah, so it becomes
everyone
work
is
as
focusing
usual.
on their
Everyone
work.
is focusing on their work. People who need to keep quiet, they keep quiet.
Yes.
Because they know if they don't have issues, they must keep quiet.
Now it got really tense and weird because Mnisi said to the judge, he asked to assist the court. And the judge was like, no, don't assist me, please. I told you what the law is. If I'm wrong, take me on appeal. Take me on review.
And the point is to educate each other, learned colleagues. Now, where are we taking the appeals to now? Why are we being emotional?
I know they broke down. I was like, okay. And then Mnisi asked Gininda again, and Gininda said that I have in court summarized all the evidence under each accused. The facts were summarized, emanating from the docket which I presented to the DPP. So the judge told Gininda to go through it again, that affidavit. And Gininda read his statement where he detailed the summary of his case. He detailed the theory of the people who were in the house, claiming that the two intruders had entered the house. Then Mnisi tried to interject, but the judge stopped him, and he said that Mnisi had this statement. Mnisi said that he does not have it with him. Okay,
This
he wanted
is
to look
asking
at
a
it.
very pertinent question. Can a case be taken into appeal while we're still dealing with it? It's already being appealed. The decision is already there. Take me to appeal.
I make sure he lays on. Hey, it was lit. Well, the judge adjourned to allow Mnisi to get a copy of that statement. Now, yeah, this is the sort of like an affidavit for the accused warrant of arrest. So after that short adjournment, court resumed, and Mnisi now had a copy of that statement, and Gininda continued to read it. There was a date there that he corrected of where accused number 1 had done the confession. He had written the 6th, and then he corrected himself as he was reading and said it was actually the 5th. And then the statement was basically about the theory of the people in the house. He's read it before, I think, in the trial within a trial. And now he was reading it again, saying that there were intruders and the confession statements and stuff. So the support of the Also, the use of the support of the witnesses that are deceased, the ones that said that they had seen some people waiting outside of the Spaza house when the incident was taking place. That was also mentioned in that statement. He said that the suspects are said to be known as hitmen for taxi wars. What caught my attention, though, is where he read about the director of the Public Prosecutions Gauteng Division on a directive of the National Director of Public Prosecutions instructed after careful consideration of the presented evidence that above the suspects must be arraigned. The 5 suspects must be arraigned for murder, robbery with aggravating circumstances, as well as possession of unlicensed firearm and ammunition. So here, there was no particular mention of which DPP it was. So he applied for the warrant of arrest. The statement was commissioned on the 23rd of October 2020 at 1 o'clock by Sergeant Mogola, and he mentioned the DPP Gauteng Division, Pretoria. So later on, we find out that, okay, we can exclude Advocate Chauke out of this indictment. It was not done by him, it was done by the DPP of Gauteng, Pretoria. So Gininda finished reading the affidavit where he detailed why the accused should be indicted. The judge asked if any application was brought by the accused at the Boksburg Magistrate Court where this matter started. Now this is after adjournment, so it means during the adjournment he was thinking. He went and found out, because after the adjournment, now he's asking whether there was an indictment or there was an application for the indictment by any of the legal counsel that the accused had at the Boksburg Magistrate Court where this matter started to have the charges thrown out. Gininda said that he was not aware of such an application ever being made. Now, this is what I mean personally, in my opinion, when I say that the judge sometimes assumes the role of a prosecutor. You know, this is not something that I felt he needed to enter the arena in, but somehow, yeah, he did what he does.
He did, as usual.
So, what was the DPP of Gauteng Pretoria Division doing in Boksburg is another pending question. Why did they not appear at Pretoria once and for all? Because that was the intention of taking this case to Pretoria. Why did they have to make that Boksburg appearance to begin with? And what is the DPP doing in that Boksburg court to begin with? Those are some of the questions. So Mnisi told Gininda that this information was very vital. And he told him, you'd understand that at this stage that we are in right now, you are presenting information to the NPA or the DPP requesting him to make a decision. Is this what you presented at that moment? Gininda said it's partly correct, not in a sense of saying that he presented the information or he didn't present the information to the NPA when he wanted a decision. You know, the memorandum gets presented with the docket. So you don't write the document and then just tell them what you have in absence of the docket. You summarize the docket, the witness that are there, the memorandum together with the docket. He said that it goes with the docket. So Gininda said he's already dealt with this issue and was cross-examined by Mnisi on behalf of accused number 3. Well, Mnisi asked him, what does that have to do with the cross-examination of accused number 1? Gininda said that he was just bringing it to the attention of the court. It's not that he has an issue.
Mnisi was asking this because the tendency of highlighting what I've already done this with, it sort of invokes emotions, if you ask me, from the court. It's something that really needs to be looked at. It needs to be looked at because just right after that, most of the time, then we go on a defense mode. The court will go on a defense mode. They'll say they are protecting the witnesses, and I guess they are within their rights. But he says these things, in my opinion, to sometimes invoke emotions. And also irritate the counsellors that are dealing with the cross-examination at the time.
Now, Mnisi asked him, when you are bringing that to the attention of the court, what do you expect the court to do? Advocate Balo interjected and said the witness is saying this information is already on record after a proposition was put to him. There's nothing wrong with that. And Mnisi said, I don't know if that was an objection or what, but my question is, I am now conducting cross-examination on behalf of accused number 1, who had not had the privilege of somebody cross-examining on your evidence in chief. Now I'm asking you, bringing that to the attention of the court, what do you want the court to do? And Gininda said, I did not make a request to the court. Advocate Mnisi made it look like we're dealing with it for the first time, and I was merely bringing it to the attention of the court.
How did Mnisi make it look like that? He is the first timer when it comes to representing accused number 1. And that's the difficult part that they are failing to fathom.
Yes.
Because they have been requesting that if someone who's going to hit the ground and run, someone who has been here, my lord. So they are now expecting Mnisi to suppress some of the questions on the basis that he was there. But representing accused number 3, who has different dynamics of this case, who comes in this case in a different way. There is no confession on the accused number 3. There's nothing to look forward to other than the bullet.
Yes.
And he was already arrested.
Yes.
Now he's dealing with someone
totally different.
It's totally different.
Had a confession. A lot is happening with accused number 1. So Advocate Mnisi made it look like we're dealing with it for the first time, and it was merely bringing it to the attention of the court. That is not the first time that we've dealt with this issue. Then Mnisi said to him, do not mislead the court. Accused number 1 did not have a person to cross-examine you in your evidence in chief. Do you understand? Mr. Mgomezulu got ill before he could cross-examine you, and ultimately he passed away. Accused number 1 had not yet had an opportunity for someone to cross-examine you. So your version that Mr. Mgomezulu cross-examined you on your evidence in chief is misleading. Baloyi interjected again to say that the witness is misleading. To say that the witness is misleading is inappropriate and it's uncalled for in the circumstances.
What is inappropriate about misleading?
I don't know. Maybe he wants him to say that he lies. I don't know. I don't know. Misleading is respectful. The normal, everyday, day-to-day language, we say, we put it like it is, you lied. You lied. So I don't know what is wrong with all of these objections. So the witness was merely putting his position. And Advocate Mnisi is attacking the integrity of the witness when he says he's misleading the court, and that should be withdrawn. Mnisi insists it was the right word to use given that the witness made a statement that he says was incorrect. And Mnisi said when the witness states something that is not factually correct in English, what do we call that? Baloyi said we are not going to labor that point. All we're going to say is that a witness who is here to assist the court is misleading the court when he's merely stating what is already on the record. How is he misleading the court when he is stating what is in the record? Mnisi said that is not an issue. I'm like, oh my God. Could they want Mnisi to grovel and apologize for things he did not do? What is going on?
It is funny. What is happening in that court?
What is going on? And the judge is quiet. Kanako is not saying anything. He's not saying, Baloyi, come on, move on. Something. Mr. Baloyi, move on. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Well, then Gininda said the insinuation that he's misleading is incorrect. He said Mgomezulu made him go through the statement in the trial within a trial, and he cross-examined on it. He said that this was a summary he sent to the DPP, but in the memorandum, it could have included the evidence he had on Ms. Kelly Kumalo when he represented the docket, the assertion that the instruction came from Ms. Kelly Kumalo was already out. It's contained in the confession, so that part was included in the memorandum because this is how he writes. the memorandum. He said the memorandum was broader because it dealt with the issues of Ms. Kelly Khumalo. Hence, there was also another statement he read in November. He says he was made to read it in court, where he was requesting that she should be charged as accused number 6. Hi, they will hoy Kelly Khumalo in, but another part of me secretly wishes that they indicted. I wanted to see what was going to happen. Did you think the obstacle, and this is just me speculating, could have been because they knew she was going to come with a lawyer who was probably going to ask for the indictment?
Not only indictment, a lot of things were going to be asked and scrutinized there. So you don't want to bring someone like that and combine them with some people that do not have money, whom you can get an easy victory, if you ask me. And you are making your life difficult if you are bringing someone who's going to bring money and be able to defend herself. That's my thinking.
Well, then, Mnisi said you are basically telling this court that what you are reading there is not the complete picture of what you actually presented to the state. Gininda said that he was answering in the context of questions which related to the accused. He said that the information remained the same, but the memorandum includes information on Kelly Khumalo. Mnisi read the application of the warrant of arrest after the office of the DPP had taken a decision. And Mnisi said that, was this not an application for a warrant of arrest after the decision was made by the DPP? Gininda said Mnisi was using disrespectful words to him and he expects respect from Mnisi. He said it's a directive from the DPP. He said the reason they got to this statement is because he was asked to specify and not summarize. Gininda said Mnisi asked him about specifics and he referred to this affidavit that had specifics. He says he's already mentioned that his memorandum accompanied by the docket is what he submitted to the DPP and not this affidavit. So still, in that affidavit, I felt like it did not make it clear as to why accused number 1, what was the evidence against them, accused number 2, what was the evidence against them, accused number 3, what was the evidence against them. It kind of told a story, a story we've had many, many, many times, the version of the people in the house, what the hearsay evidence is saying pertaining to the witnesses of which have passed on. And then, the whole story was written and narrated again on this affidavit. It's not exactly giving a picture of what the evidence against each accused looks like. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Gininda said that the date in which this directive came from the DPP was the 22nd of October 2020, and the statement was made to the magistrate, which is the following day on the 23rd of October 2020. The statement was as a result of the directive that was taken. Gininda said that he had said over again that it's a memorandum. Okay, so Mnisi then said, beyond what you said about Kelly Khumalo, is there anything else? And Gininda said, I think it's the list of witnesses who deposed affidavits in this docket. So Mnisi said, I've got a bit of a challenge when you say what is in this affidavit is not the same as what you submitted in the memorandum. And Gininda said, my lord, I've already said that I was asked about the specifics that relate to why these accused should be indicted. And what I said was that the memorandum was accompanied by the docket when it was submitted to the DPP. And Gininda said that this was a prosecutorial driven investigation prior to his submission of his memorandum. There was communication between his office and the prosecution. It's not a state where the police were operating in isolation. Mnisi asked Gininda if he was satisfied with what he submitted to the office of the DPP, and Gininda insisted that it was a prosecutorial-led investigation. It was a flow of communication leading to this. It was guided. So a directive was given that you can move this way. Okay, he's saying he was merely taking instructions, guided. You understand what I'm saying? So, in my opinion, Gininda is not going to take this full responsibility of investigation.
Yeah.
So he said that the list of the statements and confession tallied with the docket, and it was also mentioned in the memorandum. And Mnisi said to Gininda, let's cut it short. Were you satisfied as a team, the DPP and the SAPS, that the information contained in the affidavit was what has been happening in terms of the investigation all along? Gininda said that this affidavit is not a summary of the entire investigation. It deals with specifics related to the accused before this court. So after the long adjournment, Mnisi picked up on the case against accused number 1 when they approached the NPA for a decision on whether or not to prosecute. Gininda started with correcting an error, and he said that he, together with Brigadier Perumal, met with the NPA on the 26th of January 2020 and not 2019 as previously stated. Mnisi highlighted how the team of the prosecutors that worked in this case were mostly senior. He said that he is making this point to demonstrate how this case was treated. At the time which you approached them in 2020, Advocate Leonard had almost been a deputy director of public prosecutions at the office of the DPP for almost more than 25 years. At that time, apparently it's a she had already been conferred with a silk status. What's a silk status, Mr. Anonymous?
Silk?
I don't know what it is, a CE or silk status. I don't know what it is, but it is a silk or CE status. I don't know what status that is. I have to do my research on that. So Baloyi objected to this line of cross-examination and said that they think it's completely irrelevant. He said, we don't see what that has got to do with the issues before this court.
Senior advocates, also known as a senior counsel, experienced practitioners, traditional advocates recognized for their expertise and contribution of the legal profession.
So it's a big deal. It's a seniority.
Yeah.
Then Mnisi said that he had mentioned earlier before he started that it had nothing to do with Brigadier Gininda. And if he has a comment, he can comment. If he doesn't have a comment, then he may not comment. It would not have any negative inference on what would be made against him. However, he needs to, Mnisi saying that he needs to put this on record because it will form part of his arguments at a later stage. So since Advocate Lambert, Advocate Baloyi and Mahwate were working together, Baloyi argued that it was not the decision of individuals, but it was a decision of the DPP. All the decisions that are taken are in the DPP's name. So there is no point in referring to individuals who took a decision on behalf of the DPP. It's the decision of the DPP.
Hey, Maduri, morning goes the delegation. No, it's okay. We understand that. But what we are saying is that we have a chance now. We have an encounter where a member who was there taking that decision is carrying the mandates of the DPP. And he comes to court. We want to know at what grounds did your team or the team that you were in reach the agreement that we are we are indicting these people. We really have a case and a strong case here. So you are here to answer for that. It's not a transmission. If you know your story, you know your story. There's nothing wrong. You will submit. These are the things that I felt were compelling in this evidence. So we felt the need to bring these people into to come in account.
Mnisi said it's the office of the DPP. It's not about him as an individual. It's an institution. And we know who is the leader of that institution. Then Mnisi to Gininda said that the team who assisted you throughout your process of investigation of the case are a team of extremely experienced prosecutors. Two of the advocates are at the most senior level of administration there, and one advocate in that team is in the middle level of administration. Mnisi said that he said this just to demonstrate the amount of attention that the office of the DPP treated this matter with. Now he went to the evidence against accused number one. Now, Mnisi said, I suppose there were utterances made by accused number one, and the police went to obtain statements from the people who heard what he was saying. And Gininda said that what he recalls is that one person, Sfiso Zungu, made reference to a discussion that took place in KZN, although he was in Vosloorus at the time, but he subsequently had a conversation in KZN where he was attending an event with accused number one. He's also related to accused number one. Mnisi read the statement where it read where the utterances that were allegedly made by accused number one in the homelands about killing Senzo Meyiwa, that triple hearsay, what Absalom Zungu alleges to have heard from Bekiseni, who heard it from another Ndanzi, who said that they had heard accused number one say that they were responsible for the death of Senzo. He also read the part where it was said that he made disclosures and remarks at a family gathering in Vosloorus. I don't know how that is being described as a family gathering. I don't know. but the family gathering at Vosloorus, even before the death was reported in the media, because Zungu had professed that accused number one, Moses Bia, had told him that he killed Senzo before even the media broke the news that Senzo had passed on. We can all recall this from Zungu's testimony, and he says accused number one actually made those utterances to him. It's astonishing how this triple hearsay moved from Ntanzi, Bekiseni, Absalom, and then it moved to Zungu now being the one who said, yes, the same utterances were made to me. But then he was the first one to go to the police. Mnisi then zoomed into the mention of circumstantial evidence in the affidavit, and Mnisi said, what is the nature of the circumstantial evidence?
Lindy, you have a point. Someone is saying we have 586 people. We only have 269 likes. Please remember to press that like button, whether you're on TV or where. Please press that like button.
Please
so that
press the like button, guys.
Without any disturbance.
Please like the video, okay? It will help us a lot. So, who witnessed the activity? Gininda said that he knew that Mr. Gwabeni was also there, and Mnisi said the people that you are referring to, this Gwabeni, you will agree with me that up until this point, what you are saying about him only constitutes to hearsay. Is that not so? And Gininda said, yes, I agree, because in my understanding, he has not seen or he has not been called to court to confirm his affidavit. Gininda said he could not recall any other circumstantial evidence, and Mnisi asked him that up until this point you'd agree with me that this still constitutes to hearsay, as no one from the homelands up until this point, no one from the homelands has come to court to confirm that they heard accused number one saying this and this and this. And Gininda said, yes, it is so. All that is being referred to here also constitutes to hearsay, Mnisi asked, and Gininda said yes. So Mnisi now said beyond that is the confession he made before Colonel Mboto. Gininda said that he submitted the entire docket to the DPP, including the confession. And Mnisi then said, beyond this confession, there was an alleged pointings out that he made before Colonel Hadebe. And Gininda said that's correct. So in paragraph 3 of the statement, you say that the evidence presented revealed that the deceased was murdered as a contractual hit and not a robbery gone wrong. Gininda said that's correct insofar as the submission to the DPP. Secondly, he said that he was aware that there was an alibi investigation that was done, and it revealed that he was not in KZN during the commission of the crime as claimed. Bank records and traffic department provided information. There were cell phone investigations done, and that evidence was presented by Colonel Steyn here in court. In addition, Constable Zungu came and testified here. Now, Mnisi said his question was whether this was all that he submitted to the DPP, and Gininda said yes, because there are also statements that say that they were at the hostel and seen before and after commission of the crime, and that is part from the confessions. And Mnisi said who made these statements, and he asked Gininda. Gininda said he could think of Gwabini from the top of his head, and Mnisi said we've already dealt with Gwabini and hearsay evidence, and Gininda said indeed. Advocate Baloyi rose to object, and he said it must be borne in mind that the statement was part of the docket when it was submitted to the DPP. Counsel is specific about that time. So now Advocate Baloyi is telling us that Gwabini's statement was part of the docket when it was handed over to the DPP's office. Mnisi pleaded no contest to Baloyi's objection, and Gininda said that he took the docket with all the evidence to the DPP. Mnisi said that he would not confirm or deny the alleged call that Colonel Steyn said was there between Kelly and accused number 5. There was this whole weird way of Advocate Baloyi now trying to erase the discrepancies in Colonel Steyn's evidence. It was just so awkward and weird. Like he's trying to erase those discrepancies. I'm sitting there in disbelief. I'm like, what? But I objected, saying that it was unfair that Mr. Mnisi needed to lay a basis before asking that question. Mnisi said that he was saying what he is saying because the defense was able to identify that there were discrepancies in the information that was contained in the affidavit of Colonel Steyn with regard to the numbers that were referred to be Kelly's number and accused number 5's number. So Baloyi said that there is no such evidence. I am done. If Dilulu was there, so Lulu. He said Colonel Steyn's evidence was clear. There is no discrepancies as counsel was put or had put it to the witness. So he wants to erase that whole error that happened where the Excel sheet that Colonel Steyn was using did not match exactly with the PDF that Pinky Faintilenkem testified on. Some things were changed there. He wants us to forget about it, guys. It never happened. It was clear. That whole phone number of Kelly and now an accused number 5 and the connection not being clear, and then we were being told it was a WhatsApp call, and we must forget that. Okay, that was clear. Well, Baloyi said that that point should be left for argument and not put to the witness. And I'm thinking to myself, why must it not be put to this witness? At some point, Colonel Steyn said that he received this Excel from Gininda. Is that not what he said?
He did.
So why must it be left for argument when the person is right here and Mnisi needs to do a proper job of finding out what is going on? Gininda still insisted that was accused number 5's cell phone number that called Kelly. He also made mention of the see-through bag, the picture with the transparent bag that had money. That picture, he says it's linking accused number 3 as well as Longwe's phone, and he confirmed that the pictures were similar. At the end of the day, those were just pictures. It wasn't money.
So, pictures cannot be a link. They can be common because we get them from internet, but a link. Jesus Christ, what kind of a system are you using?
I don't understand. So the judge now asked Kininda about Stain's XDS process. So when a judge began a feeling, this is a sinking. In my opinion, this is sinking. He was trying, right? But Stain's XDS process now was being asked from Brigadier Kininda. Then he became upset when Mnisi said that the XDS evidence came from the court. He said that it came from Stain. The judge was very upset hearing Mnisi put it like that, you know. I feel like he wanted to throw Mnisi off or something. It was just too weird, a weird interjection of the XDS. XDS is a software that Stain had said they used to download from the shell phone. And the shell phone downloads. Mnisi asked Kininda if the alleged phone call between Kelly Khumalo and accused number 5 was used as a fact to say that this was a contractual killing. But Loyi said Mnisi did not ask that prior. So it seemed like he wanted Mnisi to ask the question differently. And Mnisi said that I did ask this question initially because honestly, Mnisi was being distracted. That's my opinion. The judge is now bringing XDS transparent backs, but that's not what Mnisi asked. You understand? But then he had to put his foot down and say, I was actually asking about the link between Kelly Khumalo and accused number 5, whether you use this as a fact to say that this was a contractual killing.
You know why they are finding difficult to actually defend their positions? Because it is crazy. How can you link someone with a picture that is on the internet? How can so it becomes difficult to defend the indefensible.
They were honestly trying to distract Mnisi. They were just coming at him like a ton of bricks. So when you could make XDX, so when you could make squama, he pictures his squamas, nemali. You know, it was all over the place. And you know, Baloyi said that tomorrow they can listen to the record. So expect that early in the morning before court adjourns or before court resumes, because they adjourned after this. They will be listening to the record just to hear whether Mnisi, 5 minutes earlier, what was the question he asked?
15 minutes.
That process might take a good 15 minutes. Hi guys, that's it from me. I'm done. I'm so over these people. Please.
Bafethu, we are done.
Hi, I'm so over these people. I'm done. Yo, these people, they are dragging.
Let me do this. It's been a while. Let's see if people can really keep it short and just take maybe 5 calls.
So we're taking calls?
Just 5 calls. If people can really keep it that short and they can call. Yeah, I think you can take WhatsApp calls and we can call direct. So while we're waiting for that, I'm just gonna be thanking people that were here, keeping their chats on fire. Our Ansi K Moyo, our moderator, thank you very much.
Thank you, Ansi K Moyo. Welcome back.
You were one of the first to do this solid. Thank you. If you're still here, we appreciate you. Kanyile Kaba. Siyabonga kakhulu. Ake sizwe. Mzanzelo.
Hello.
Yes, sir. How are you?
I'm okay, sir. How are you?
Yes, we're good. I'm hearing a background noise at the back. Can you just...
I'm very sorry. I've switched it off.
Okay, let's rock this.
Thank you very much.
Cool.
I've been trying to catch up with the proceedings and
Yes.
your guys' good follow-up analysis.
Thank you.
Once again, this is an excellent job. I won't try to compare you to any other analysis that we see, but you go into so much detail that even if one might have missed the proceedings in court, you get to have an idea and then later go back to make your own judgment as a follower of the case. Yeah. In a nutshell, my belief literally is the state is falling apart. Since when, from a biological point of view, since when really XY is now a mix-up when it comes to DNA? Guys, some of us were involved in science, maths, Olympia, did some of these subjects with high grades and didn't get back marks. But yes. I mean, please, what is it that must be done to educate? This argument started long ago of this DNA. They're still trying it today. After so many days, internet has become so powerful to educating anyone in the world. You can even come up with a most probably accurate and perfect qualification just out of Google learning. They don't understand such basics. And these people are in high court. How many people are in jail inappropriately because of misunderstanding that is happening in that place? And we still say we have a justice system. Abanye beze nenye bayoncenga somewhere ayikho ngizoyibeka lapho ngisawa ukukhuluma siyabonga
right. Yes, well, the calls are open, guys. Let them rain. We continue. Patra Twetwa siyabonga Mr. P siyabonga cool bengisabuka nalo ndaba kaKhanyile Xaba that's two surnames Khanyile is a name Xaba is a surname Indalo siyabonga cool. Thank you very much. Let's see. Mzansi, hello.
Hello, Butano. How are you?
I'm good, sir. How are you?
I'm good. Hi, Emily.
Hi.
You speak with my daughter, Mhaw in Cape Town.
My daughter.
I'm still following my brother.
Yes.
Brian, I just want to ask something. It's different because I've noticed something.
Yes.
Brigadier Peruman, it was on a cold case unit. Brigadier Peruman, they said he was intervened in the fight of 4 investigators.
Yes.
But now Peruman, when I follow the case, no man, Peruman is a part of a cold case unit. Do you think accused number 1, did he ever charged for this case?
Accused number 1.
Accused number 1, do you think he ever charged for this case, this matter? If you still remember, Mkomezulu, he did ask, when did those people they formally charge? It seems this cold case unit, it just interfere when you have another case. So I just start to check. I see Advocate Mnisi, where he tried to go. It seems accused number 1 is the right person to destroy this case because it starts from accused number 1.
Yes.
Now, he has a big problem because now all this, what it happened, he have to start it from the scratch because of Mnisi. Mnisi has a background of what they already have, but now he restart the case. I think he's doing a very good job, but I'm still wondering when did those guys, because they said you have a 48 hours, then they charge you, and then you go and appear in court. Do you think these guys, they follow that process? That I was just want to know about that. Thank you very much, guys. I love you very much.
Thank you.
I still have a problem with a chat. I've seen all the guys, seen everyone there. Thank you very much, Anu.
Thank you.
That's it. There was a time where there was Advocate Ngomezulu was inquiring about a charge sheet. Do you still remember that?
Yeah, yes, I remember. Madoda Marau, yes. Let's continue here. Laura Moteleng, our member, Taylor Clarence, Jeremiah Sbanda. Thank you guys. I'm just appreciating you. The calls are still open. Wozanazo nami ngizenenda ma uthi wena ukhona ofuna ukusha sizwe. Hello. Mzansi, hello.
Hey, Mzansi family, how are you guys doing?
Doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Yes.
Good to have you guys back. We missed you.
Yes.
Yeah. I think two points I wanted to raise. I feel the DNA issue. I feel maybe the judge does not want the defense to keep raising that because that's where the case is. I don't care how he wanna put it. They'll never be able to change that. There's case laws and case laws about DNA. There's no way they're gonna change the DNA. I'm just happy Kininda and Baloyi did not understand how the DNA works. And that's where they lost the case. So I wish the defense can just drop it. They can still raise it for the records on the argument, but they can just let it go for now because there's no other way around it. They cannot change that. They cannot change that. Yeah. And I think the fact issue our Adv Mnisi was arguing about today, I feel that the DPP was given the story that this was a robbery gone wrong. And that's how they allowed this prosecution to go through. And now, when they got to court, they changed it. So I'm sure even the DPP is sitting there, but you guys told us like this was a robbery gone wrong.
Yes.
So now it's a whole different case. That's why every week they kept coming with investigation because now they need something new to align to this new theory.
Yes.
You know. Yes. So I feel that we'll never see them. There's no way we're going to see them because it's something different. It's not what's going on in this court. And I don't know if you guys saw an interview by Ubabu Msweli at Tegwini. He was with one of the prosecutors who prosecuted a big case back in 2006. Okay. For those who understand the Zulu, that will help a lot to see why we all have such an issue with this case and the prosecutors. Okay. The prosecutor was able to link, he was able to link 26 people with phone calls and cards back in 2006. We didn't have this much technology, but how he narrates his story, he will tell you this so and so called, so and so. We were able to link this card to this person, this card to this person. And we don't have that in this case. That's why we're still looking for facts today, because there's still nothing linking these people together. There's still nothing putting these accused in a scene, in a crime scene. You know, for those who understand this is Zulu, if they can go and watch that interview by Msweli, with the prosecutor, I think he's talking about the case in 26.
Yeah,
it's such a wonderful narrated story.
It's a very long interview. I think it's in part. It comes in parts.
Yes, it comes in parts.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not formal, but how they narrate how he was able to link 26 accused. You know, he was able to link them together and get them all convicted. And we're sitting with 5 accused. We can't even link these 5 accused together. There's no phone calls between them. There's no text. There's nothing. There's no pictures with all of them together. Nothing. Wow. And yet there are these masterminds who committed such a big crime. You know.
Okay.
Yeah, it's such a crazy.
I will definitely.
Thank you guys for taking my call.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Injalo nje indaba siyaqhubeka. Lulama Sarai, thank you. Mpumi Zwane, thank you. Chris Neo, Sihlako Nebza, thank you. Boto Ramukade, thank you. You're surprised we started 8 years. I was also surprised. Ndanzile, thank you. Dibu, thank
That's
you.
so shady.
Petros Ntapo, thank you. Laura, thank you very much. Melo Worldwide, thank you. Spatisiwe Memory Shabango, thank you. Dokas Shabalala, thank you. Chimkulu, thank you. Lambo Designs, thank you. Sfiso Sindani, our member, thank you. Laura, our member, thank you. Pumelelo Dlamini, thank you. Sikube njalo sithi Thandi Mthembu, thank you. Messiah, thank you. Hey, I'm not going to read your comment, Messiah. Kola, Nosep. I think it's Nosep because I remember there was Nosep was playing for Kaizer Chiefs and long ago. From Namibia, yes. Namibia is in the house. I like your channel. South Africans are still having apartheid hangover. Yay, my daughter. After a long time, yes. Siyabonga kakhulu.
That's how deep it is.
Sikhubeke njalo sithi mamfuneka. Siyabonga. Thank you. Tamsanqa Shangase. Thank you. Ndanganeni, I think. Mayan. Thank you. If I pronounce something wrong, please correct me. Genius Lila, thank you. Starlink, talking about Starlink Genius. Dokas, I've mentioned you. Linda Mkwebane. Uti, good evening, family. Hey, it's a good morning now. Lindy, we almost missed the live. I'm used to after hours. Good evening, fam. Yes, I was also surprised. Linda Mkwebane, I've mentioned you. Bruno, Lakindlovu. Thank you. Lusanda Ndingi. Thank you. Sizwe 18, our member, our brother there. Thank you. Good evening, everyone in Mzansi for sure. Lucky Love. I've mentioned you, Lindeni Hadebe. Hi Mzansi. Hi Lindeni. Lezo Dumelang. Yes, Raul Mtrobole. Hello Ninjani. Siyaphila kakhulu. Size njalo nje siza nawo ngoholoko. Kaulu. Hey, my daughter. Advocate Mnisi is trying his level best.
Yes.
Hey, thank we appreciate the fact that you are seeing the hard work that this man is putting.
Yes.
Sibingelele nakusibongile mlangeni. Blessing Mabena, Pink Indlovu. Sehle njalo uvusa uthando maxhobane uthi nje good evening everybody. Kube everly cute. Good evening, family. Sithi morning. Farai sehle njalo Thabang Selepe. Siyakubona nawe nje la ukhona Elisa. Madodha Elisa ngizoma nje lapho. Ngizoqhubeka ngelinye ilanga mase nginamandla ukufunda lapha. I'll continue. Ngibambe nje njalo ngehle njalo uholoko. Ngiyagijima kusemashini. Akekho nofunayo la. Thuso William Lehuto athi hi everyone. Sibambe nje njalo sengijahe ezazi ngiyabona kuyonakala lapha ezansi. Hlanjiwe Sibande sibonge Mamzitha siyabonga mama. Emmanuel Makanjera awu madodha remember le ebaleke balo is reckled and Rata is silent and with laughing emoji. He was loving this. Zoli udelete message. I won't be able to say what Mbulelo Moshani our member. This is our member. Good evening, family. Today morning from this side at this point in time. Boitumelo Moja, our member. Ati hi family, so good to be back with you guys. Sithi nje nathi siyabonga. Sibuyile, we are here Nkosi Nkiwani. Good evening, good people. Dingani at High Family, which liars of Zungus was High Family, which liars of Zungu was followed? Hostel story or his father? Yay, which lies? Or which lies is? Sorry, which lies? Khona kunzima mabili ama theory abhekene asazi ukuthi yona yipi ngehle njalo noma phakathi Pablo Phakeli evening sis Emily and Mr. Anonymous and the crew of Mzansi. Yes, Emily. Bayakubona lapho ku screen. Mlilo athi nda Varimini, hello family. Hey madoda, ngasifunda isivenda uzwake. Pedro, sibonge kakhulu. Thank you very much, Pedro. Pablo, I've mentioned you. Mamelo Skuna, at the High Family, passing through with my like. Thank you very much. We appreciate you. We hope you're gonna continue later on. Siba at Morning Family. Skubeka njalo no sipo athi naye istory city kakhulu. Spiwe songo siyabonga FMFM CBD. Please enter with like that is how lately we contribute in this channel. Thank you very much. MFM. Siqhubeke njalo nje sithi Ignitia siyabonga. Yeah, Brenda Ngema awuntu siyenkomo siyabonga. Uxolani Ncube sibonge Xolani. The law supports Mnisi, the Criminal Procedure Act, and the case law supports Mnisi's position. Asithembe ukuthi ayizuqhamuka lapana from kwi apartheid era. Isizo
it will pop up tomorrow.
Xolani Mbanza siyabonga kakhulu ugogo lo sihle njalo athi mzwazwaza. Hello Miss Emily and Mr. Anonymous.
Hi.
Thank you mzazaza. Siqhubeke njalo Didi Talks uthi ke ulate. Hayi wedidi nami ngisho ngalate na kwishow. Ngithole nje vele uEmily sephakathi seqalile. Don't worry, it happens.
Yeah, sometimes
We are confusing the enemy. Lindiwe. I think I've mentioned you. Sisla njalo nje uholoko. Sibone ukuthi obani abasasho John athi did the brigadier pass his law exams? Do tell me. Hey kunzima sasi. Kodwa khona ke re-exam mawukuthi ubhale washiya phakathi nendawo ngenxa ukuthi ujahe case sehla njalo Thobeka D, our moderator. Good morning family, better late than never indeed. Sibambe nje kanje bafowethu. Thank you very much. With the like button, it is still need that pressing from you guys. We are requesting for that. Njomane 83 ayingulukelezi have been here for that long. Obonjomane sebeyakhumbuleka. Ucrash at good morning family and Emily and Mr. family Emily Mr. Anonymous. Sithi nje good morning. Sehla njalo siyabonga sithi Hositsile athi hello. Hositsile sithi nje hello. Botswana right? Yes. Thembelihle Biela ndaba ezitha athi how could abombotho were not having those recording device while talking so important confession. While taking the confession njengale nakho lokho kubuye kube licala. Asas mangabe ungamtshelanga umuntu Thembelani Khanye athi good morning sizwe hayi sizwe ngathi khona into ngidlele yona sengiphinda kwesibili manje Kabelo Dambe siye njalo sithi nonto looking gorgeous my darling Emily. Hey madoda. Bese sithi nje siyabonga kumkhwanazi uNdonga athi njena now 70 rand siyabonga Ndonga sibonga kakhulu akwande la uthathe khona bese sihla njalo Fikile fixing at morning ngilate bahlala awukho late khona nangu lo lathi cha ngiyamphikisa uNdonga akakwazi ukugcina yena athi nje naye mahla ngecold drink athi cappuccino for the road 140. Thank you siyabonga kakhulu, we appreciate you la. Rivak athi yena I wonder how uGinindi and Baloyi are sleeping. Hey athi balala bekhohlwe imnandi lento. G2 naye ukhona siyabonga mamfuneka bese ngeke ngakumention hawu ngeyivala imele.
It's a wrap, guys. We'll see each other again tomorrow.
Jo Munare Ntokozo Mbatha impela kunjalo awusiyabonga kanza kwethu. Thank you, we'll see you tomorrow.
We'll see you tomorrow, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Until the next one.